Dude, every single person that watches football is going to hate the Chiefs when we inevitably win this Super Bowl, dude.
Bro, we're back. We're back in the Super Bowl.
We
Look
are
at this.
so back.
Oh no, we can't score 30 points unless we need to. We scored 32 in this game that we needed to. Oh man, what a game. Bills are gonna, they were a great opponent. I'll give them that. We're gonna get into it. Definitely, controversy as always when we win a game, but honestly at
But
this
we're going
point,
to the Super Bowl, baby. It
we're
doesn't
going to the
matter. It
Super
doesn't
Bowl.
matter. We're going to the bowl again. It doesn't matter.
This is Talkin Chop. Welcome back, watchers and listeners, to the Super Bowl preview episode and Bills AFC Championship recap video. I'm your host, David Pokorny. I'm the account runner of Upper Hand Chiefs on Instagram. Been doing a lot of the groundwork for you. To my right is Garett Aimutis, offensive line coach, local high school. He's here. Don't forget Statman Jackson. He's been waiting in the wings. He's going to be curating some comments, and now he's on the live right now.
Jackson just put me on the spot. I was trying to put a comment on Instagram real quick, man.
Look, he's been in the comments for us. He's been clutch for us, and we're glad to have him back.
Speaking of clutch for us, hey, look at that. Mahomes gets it done again. Andy Reid, Spagnuolo. The whole offense looked completely different from that game that we played against the Texans, and I love to see it. So let's get right into just kind of the recap of what, Well, before we get into the recap, let's get into the injury report and player news. There's not much to report on, but here we go. Mecole Hardman's done for the year. I mean, we didn't get to cover it. It kind of came out after our show happened, but it looks like Nico Remigio has earned that kick returner job, and not only has he earned it this season, I think he might have it for years to come.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I would not be surprised at all if he makes the 53 next year. I mean, I feel like every single time he touches the ball, there is just a chance for him to break and get a lot more yards than we're honestly used to seeing. I feel like that part of our special teams has kind of been the weak point in the last couple of years, especially after Tyreek left. But now with Nico back there, he's shifty, he's electric. He can break a couple tackles, and he's been really good for us. So.
Yeah, he's been absolutely insane. We know last time against the Eagles in the Super Bowl, it came down to a Kadarius Toney special teams kick return that did in fact put us in position to get that lead back after we went down. So who knows? Nico Remigio could have a crazy kick return in this Super Bowl too. It could be a huge part of the offense going forward. Special teams are super important, and Nico Remigio, I couldn't be happier that he is just a spark plug.
I mean, do we have another Chiefs punt returner maybe even breaking Kadarius Toney's previously set record of longest punt return in the Super Bowl?
Oh, that would be crazy if
I don't know.
Remigio breaks Toney's record. Ooh, that would be interesting. I like it. But hey, I see a lot of people in the comments saying Saquon, they're scared of him. Listen,
don't worry. We're gonna get into it. I promise you. Look. We're gonna have 2 weeks to sit and worry about it. We're gonna talk about it. Do we really need to be as worried as we thought, though? We'll talk about that a little bit later.
Also, we got one other news thing. Justin Ross, this was news for the week coming into the game. He got elevated from the practice squad. Everyone was like, oh my God, do we have like a secret package? Is he going to play? No, I think it was to hit a pay incentive, it turns out. I think this would have been his third elevation of the season. So we healthy scratched him after we elevated him from the practice squad. We did the same thing with Deion Bush last week. So good to see that we're taking care of our players on the practice squad too. I mean, you never know when they might need to come in for a moment's notice. I mean,
it's like is Lamar, trying to, or Clark, sorry, not Lamar. Is Clark trying to get that better grade, like how he's been, rated like one of the worst owners in the league on the little report card past couple seasons? Maybe, but apparently our team just doesn't like our locker room and stuff. So hopefully, after we win this, fourth Super Bowl in 6 years, maybe he can upgrade the locker room for him.
Yeah, and then in other news, we got AFC West coaches Pete Carroll going to the Raiders. Garrett, I mean, what do you? He's the oldest coach of all time right now. This is the oldest coach of all time.
But with him joining the Raiders, is the AFC West currently might be all time hardest division when it comes to head coaching in football? I mean, we have Andy Reid, multi-time Super Bowl champion. We have Pete Carroll, Super Bowl champion. We have Jim Harbaugh, We have and finally Sean Payton. I mean, we have 4 of the craziest, most well-known head coaches in the league, and they're all in the same division now. So
they're
champions too.
all champions.
All champions.
One of them being a college football champion, but still a champion nonetheless.
They all have been to a Super Bowl, and that is a lot more than most coaches. I will say Pete Carroll is definitely, with him being the oldest coach and being on the Raiders, it's not as scary. Sean Payton has turned that team around for the Broncos after getting his franchise guy and his quarterback. And, Harbaugh turned his team around in 1 year. So, I mean, it could be a lot more competitive going down the road. I don't anticipate the Raiders are going to get it figured out for a little while, but I know Sean Payton and Bo Nix and Harbaugh and Herbert are going to be, they'll be back in the playoffs for many years to come. So,
I mean, yeah, there's still going to be a lot of growing pains when it comes to, the Vegas Raiders, obviously now, but we'll see what happens. I mean, I could see them having a good draft. Historically, they do not. But we will see come postseason time to see if
I'm low key such a Antonio Pierce guy. I liked him a lot, and I thought he was a good coach. I liked him talking, talking shit against us, and I
did like Pierce. He told you how it is, and I kind of respected that. But I mean, a couple things did come back to bite him. So
the team was so bad. That roster is just horrible. He couldn't. I think it's a general manager issue. I think
it really is. I mean,
issue.
If you go back and look at all of their first round picks from the last 6 or 7 drafts, it is bust after bust after bust. So if you're a Raiders fan, hopefully that changes for you. I don't want to change for you. But hey, we're worried about Super Bowls, not about our division rivals right now. So
let's get into the recap of the Bills game. This was an instant classic, as it always is with Patrick Mahomes versus Josh Allen. Whether it's a regular season matchup or a playoff season matchup, it's always fireworks. Everyone's eyes are glued to it. I would be very shocked if this isn't the most watched game of the season. But Garrett, I mean, let's just get the monkey out of the elephant or the horse or whatever the expression is. But
the elephant out of the room, right?
The referees, man. Did the referees gift the Chiefs this win and rob the Bills of what should have been
after the
theirs?
check I sent bounced, I wasn't so sure if it would happen, but it seems to me that they just took it. They took my IOU, and they obviously gave us some calls that were definitely supposed to go to the Bills. Right?
Yes. Obviously, we're joking. This game was, this is a ref, by the way, that has a 6-5 record before this game. I think it's now 7-5.
Now 7-5
with reffing for Chiefs games. And this ref is also famous for that roughing the passer call where Chris Jones literally tapped Tom Brady on his left chest, and it gave him a crucial first down in the fourth quarter. So I get it, Bills fans. This ref is not. I don't even think it's a rigged thing. I think he's just not a great referee. But these calls were not really that bad. I think the Falcons game was probably the closest you could argue that maybe we didn't deserve a call, and it was literally that PI.
Yeah, that one was kind of rough.
This one, it's hard to argue. They had lots of chances. The Bills had the ball with 3 minutes and 33 seconds left, down 3 points, and they didn't win the game. That's a lot of time, especially considering many of these previous matchups where they, scored in 13 seconds for Mahomes and less than a minute for Allen. 3 minutes and 33 seconds is plenty of time to win the game with the ball in your hands, only down 3. It really wasn't a game deciding call that changed his outcome.
Yeah, no. And even if a couple of these calls went the Bills' way, I really don't see it being that beneficial. With the worthy catch, right? I know everyone's, oh my God, the ball touched the ground. Well, first of all, was secured. The ball is allowed to touch the ground as long as they're secured. And regardless if it was, there was still major holding defensively on the Bills, so it was still going to be first down from the 20 going in for the Chiefs, right? So regardless if it went away the way of the Bills, right? We go a couple more plays, we score a touchdown, takes way more time off the clock. Maybe the Bills don't score before halftime if that happens, right? So maybe it was more beneficial to them that we even got closer, right? But I'm not a guy who's going to look at, ref comments seriously. I feel like it's such a thing now with the explosion of social media and X. I can't imagine some of the Twitter feuds that would have been if the Twitter was going on during the Joe Montana era, right? You'd just be Joe Montana's just getting help because there's no salary cap or he's just getting washed by the refs. it's just ruined like the football. That's why I like putting my phone down whenever I watch Chiefs games. It's just watch it by myself, enjoy the football. It was a really great game. Josh Allen had a really great game. Mahomes had a really great game. It seems like maybe the Bills could have leaned more heavily on the run game, seeing as how dominant James Cook was during the 4 quarters. But just that's a coaching issue, and we're going to talk about more how it wasn't a ref issue. It was coaching. McDermott consistently every single game in the playoffs gets out coached by Andy Reid. Reid makes adjustments. McDermott not so much.
Well, he tried to make adjustments. And I mean, they had their play. They had the play they wanted. We're obviously talking about that 4th and 5. Khalil Shakir does kind of it's their modified version of corn dog with, Hardman, Tony, and Sky Moore, but they always do it with Khalil Shakir. So it's a little more obvious. He was open in the flat. Josh Allen's not going to see him. And Josh Allen is not supposed to look for that read when he sees zone coverage. That was one of the most well-disguised blitzes I think I've ever seen. Like it was a zone blitz with the star corner Trent McDuffie blitzing. Like you just didn't expect it. And so Allen wasn't ready for it. He throws a prayer. The prayer is almost answered. And trust me, we've been there before with that
he was there.
Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's a hard catch. It's a diving catch that could have been made by Kincaid, but it was there, right in the breadbasket. So, championship DNA. If that was us, whoever it is, that's either Noah Gray or Travis Kelce, right? If we're going tight ends, I think Noah Gray comes down with that. I just think it's built in their DNA that in those high pressure, high intensity moments, we don't make mistakes, right? It's like you are supposed to go out there and do your job. Kincaid was there. Ball right in the breadbasket.
Yeah.
Didn't come down with it, right? He comes down with it, completely different ball game. But it's just when you get in these high pressure situations, if you're not built for it, you're not built for it, and the Chiefs are.
So are we going to talk about then? We haven't talked about the 4th and inches stop, the tush push stop. First off, there you did see they try to run it on 2-point conversions, and that's also another reason they could have lost this game is they went for 2 twice, and they didn't get either one. And, you got to at least get one of them or get both. I don't know why they even went for 2, but they tried a tush push on the 2-point conversion, didn't get it. They tried one on this 4th and 1. It was really close. I'm going to be honest. I thought it was past the line when I was watching it live, but I mean, they kept showing replay angle after replay angle. And I'm like, I don't think there's enough here to overturn it. And unfortunately, that's just how the game is. If you can't overturn the call on the field and you can't confirm that it was a first down, call on the field stands. And that's just how it was. It was close enough too. And he got they got shoved pretty bad after, he may have made the line to gain.
Look, there's so many different angles and, in real time, right? The guys in New York and, the referees up above, they have significantly more angles than we do, right? So they were looking at every single angle, every single possibility of whether he made the line to gain or not. And the way, overturning penalties go is if there is not clear and concise evidence that he crossed that line, they're not going to overturn it. From the angles I've seen, I don't think he got it. I think he was just so exponentially close. I just don't think he got it.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about some more positive stuff now that we eliminated all the ref talk. We talked about it on our show. We talked about it on our show with Alex from Chiefs Talk. He came on the show and made a crazy take saying Juju Smith-Schuster was going to have a good game. And honestly, for his standards at this point in his career, he really did. He had 50 yards on 2 really crucial catches that he just started going crazy on. I got to say, Alex, great shout. That was a really good take on the show. Really, it comes down to Kelce was absolutely the focal point of the Bills' defensive efforts. We called it on the show. We said, hey, Kelce went off in the Texans game because they left him wide open. They thought they were going to lock down our wide receivers, let Kelce do whatever he wanted. Bills said, we can't let that happen. We're going to lock down Kelce and make the wide receivers have to make a play. And man,
they did.
Juju stepped up.
Did they do it?
Hollywood stepped up. Hollywood had 3 catches. And Xavier Worthy, he did it, Garrett. He had his first 100-yard game.
Finally, dude.
We did it.
Finally.
We called it on the show.
I'm
so happy for him. Was it all receiving yards? No, but it still counts. It's
100 total yards, baby. First time he's done it all season. So
yes,
we are absolutely going to take credit for that on the prediction. We said that to many Bills fans' disagreement. The first matchup we played them, they made it expressively clear that they had a lot of things to say about that pick. But where you at now, though? Bills fans, where did you go? We were talking all that smack, all that trash when you guys beat us in the regular season. Oh, you guys are washed. Where are you guys at now? Going to Cancun, baby.
It's history repeats itself. Listen, I don't want to toot our horn too much. That was such a great, it's such a great fan base. They're dedicated, of course. But like, man, those comments were brutal. They were honestly really funny.
It was insane, dude.
They were funny. They were funny as heck. I mean, it was after we won the first game that they spammed the comments. Like they waited until they had the ability to talk. And power to them. Because I knew that we were going to beat him in the AFC Championship anyway. Like, I was like, I can't wait for this rematch. I was like, please beat the Ravens because it'll be the worst mistake you'll ever make because then you're going to have a heartbreak again. Rather get your heartbreak done a week earlier because here we are.
And I think our offensive performance really kind of like solidifies the takes we've talked about the past couple of weeks in that I feel like we are legitimately holding back our playbook until the most crucial moments. Right?
We do. We literally do.
Our offense did not look like this the entire season, and all of a sudden, first drive, we come out here with super quick tempo RPO run game, right? And it just completely dismantled Buffalo's defense on the first drive, right?
Two quick passes to Hollywood Brown.
Right out the gate.
Right out the gate. And then, yeah, as you were saying too, we really been holding this playbook back because, man, Garrett, I was not expecting to see an inverted wishbone formation where it was a read option with Patrick Mahomes. The first time he hands it off to Kareem Hunt, the Bills bit on the read option for some reason, and Kareem Hunt runs right into the end zone on a really good 12-yard rush. We run it back later in the game, situation, all the Bills bite on the run. Mahomes runs it into the end zone and powers his way in for a really funny truck, honestly. It was not a very powerful truck.
Oh, no, it was just kind of like a little shoulder chuck. But DeMar Hamlin decided to just shoulder throw him, and that leads into a whole nother can of worms of, Kelsey started getting a little chippy with him, and then 97 comes in out of nowhere and just headbutts Kelsey, and everyone's like, oh, why didn't they flag Kelsey? Blah, 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 whatever. Mahomes scored the touchdown, and we went up.
So I love seeing the plays like just coming out of nowhere. I think we're going to have a plethora of new plays to see in this Super Bowl matchup. I'm excited to see what Andy Reid and co has dialed up. I'm expecting, there's potentially like a Leo Chenal package that I think I've heard about. That'd
be diabolical. Leo Chenal touchdown would be insane.
I know it could be crazy, but we'll see.
Yeah,
Garrett, I want to take the time to answer this question that just came in the comments real quick because as we are real people outside of just being Chiefs talking heads, we do have like jobs that we have to go to, and so we have some advice. Garrett, do you want to read that comment? Do you see on the YouTube?
Let's see.
Oh, I can.
Jujuzi Vert. What's up, coach? How can I improve my pass blocking versus D tackles who are bigger than me? I'm 180 pounds. Now, obviously, that depends on your position, right? And you're coaching, whoever your coaches are. They're obviously probably doing a great job, and you just need a little bit extra help, right? Biggest thing I can say: keep your base wide, keep your weight back, and don't lurch forward, right? Especially in high school, it can get really easy to just, think you need to push a lot of your weight forward by throwing your body forward and kind of bending over. Keep your weight back. Stay patient. Let the D tackles or, DNs, whoever you're going up against, do their thing. We call them Houdinis, right? They let them choose the direction. Then you just follow them, right? Also, get in the weight room. Eat a bunch of food. If you're 180 pounds and you're playing O-line, get in the weight room, buddy. 3 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, at the end of the day, just put it down, get some weight on, man. Best I can tell you.
Is that how you build weight? I can't gain weight for
when I was in major bulk season, I would eat a bunch throughout the day, and then right before bed, it would be 3 BB&Js.
Wow. There you go. I'm glad. See, I like doing that. Oh, he's a left guard.
Left guard? I respect it.
Oh, that's kind of sick.
I played just about everyone but center, just because I had to move around a lot, but yeah, just keep your base wide, keep your strikes, centered, don't lunge, and put on some weight, baby.
All right.
Keep on that grind.
Now, honestly, Garrett, a lot of people are asking about Saquon Barkley. I think we should just get into it. They think that if Saquon Barkley goes off, it's definitely the wild card between the first Eagles matchup versus the last Eagles matchup, is that we did not have this running threat to deal with. It was contain Jalen Hurts. It was stop Devontae Smith and AJ Brown. It was Miles Sanders is okay. But now it's like Saquon Barkley is almost the focal point. You could honestly leave AJ Brown and you can let him like cook you a little bit. But Garrett, what are the keys to stopping Saquon?
I kind of had this thought after watching our AFC Championship game, right? Like obviously our biggest struggle in that game was containing James Cook, and if we look throughout the season, besides really that game and one of the on and off weird ones, our run defense has been pretty elite this season. Obviously, numbers show James Cook ran all over us. However, I think that was more game planned. If you're a defensive coordinator and you're looking at the entire Bills offensive roster, right? What is the number one name glaring at you in the face for the entire 2 weeks of prep that you have, David?
I mean, Saquon.
Talking about the Bills first.
Oh, Josh
Allen, right? I think a lot of our game plan and scheme went into containing Josh Allen's arm, not letting him beat us deep, making sure they got a lot of these short yardage situations, and then condensing it when we got into the red zone, which honestly was pretty effective. They had probably one of their, came down to the wire, obviously, but we held their offense pretty well. Defense clutched up when it mattered. But
we shut down Josh Allen from rushing, and I think that was the biggest thing too.
And I think when we're going into this Eagles game, right, we have 2 weeks of prep. We have officially a bye week, and we all know Andy Reid's record after the bye is just extraordinary. I think he's only lost like 4 times after a bye or something stupid like that. But with this game plan going in, I think Spags is more going to focus entirely on Saquon Barkley. That was the entire game plan that the Eagles had going into the Commanders. And I don't think the Commanders had any answers. Their run game was already their run defense was already pretty decimated, especially watching them versus the Lions, which really that was the only time the Lions could get anything going was on the ground. I honestly think we just sell out the run against Saquon, and we just force Jalen Hurts to win the game by himself.
And we did that week 2 or week 1 against Baltimore this season?
Week 1.
It was week 1. Now, Derrick Henry only had 13 attempts, but we held him under 50 yards. He had 46 rushing yards for Derrick Henry. He did have a touchdown. But if that's going to be the recipe for success against the Eagles, is just, make Jalen Hurts have to win it, like you said. He started fumbling. That fumble 6 that Nick Bolton had in the other Super Bowl was a huge momentum change. It's like force the quarterback to win the game, because at the end of the day, I like our odds if our quarterback has to outperform their quarterback. And especially Jalen Hurts is a little hurt right now. And unlike Mahomes and our training staff, he doesn't have the cool drugs that we do, that we inject into them when they're hurt, that they can play like a god.
Well, and to that point too, it's like obviously they have 2 full weeks of rest before playing us, and hopefully Jalen Hurts, he's hoping to go out there at full strength. But I just feel like Saquon is easily the biggest threat to us losing the game. It helps them control the clock, helps them control situational football. Right? We take that away. I'm not saying I would do this. I say honestly, if we win the toss at the start of the game, I want the ball. I want to get ahead early. I don't want them to be able to control the pace of the game. I don't want them to have time of possession in their hands at all the entire game.
No, I completely agree with you. Like, you need to make them play from behind, because that's when the Eagles play their worst football, is when they're playing catch up. But if you let them decide on their own terms, hey, let's just, we're going to ground and pound, we're going to run the ball, we're going to make a 10-minute first quarter drive, and we're going to drain you. That's what they've been doing all season. The Commanders had the formula, they didn't have the execution. Because honestly, they chickened out. They had that 4th and 3 in that first drive. Commanders had the longest drive of their season, and they knew they had to score a touchdown on that first drive, and they kicked the field goal when they didn't want to go for it on 4th and 3 after already converting 2 4th downs. It's like you got to get up early against the Eagles, because what happened once the Eagles got the ball? Saquon Barkley first carry, 60-yard rip touchdown, and it's like okay, and now we're the ones who are going to play from behind, and they can control the clock. They lost the game right then and there. So I agree, Garrett. We need to get the ball first, and we need to dominate. It's funny we said we weren't going to talk about the game, but honestly,
it's just so tempting, right? And Another big thing that a lot of people are, mentioning about the Eagles is that both of their centers are dealing with injuries right now. That's a really big deal, especially, since their whole tush push idea is just they have to have a very, unique, very built together offensive line. And if both of their centers are dealing with injuries right now, who knows if it's a long term thing? I was watching the game, and I know Jurgens was looking real rough out there. He eventually went back later in the game because even their backup center came out with a little bit of injury. So we'll see. Put Chris Jones on their injured centers. I think we can do pretty well. But I think I don't think their offense is what worries me the most. I think it's the Eagles' defense.
That's a great point. Their secondary is definitely shut down at this point. Quinion Mitchell is a star rookie, and that's not even the only rookie corner they took. Cooper DeJean was supposed to be a first-round pick. He fell a little bit. Don't know why, but they got him as well. So, hey, that tandem, not outside, and that's without talking about Darius freaking Slay, like, who is, yes, older, and yes, not as good as he used to be. But if Darius Slay is your third corner at this point, he's mostly there too. Cooper DeJean is kind of the third. They also got Reed Blankenship back there. They got CJ Gardner-Johnson back somehow, and he's been, he's been a gadget wild card. That secondary is elite, and I'm really curious to see how Kelsey matches up more so against the linebackers, because Kelsey's going to have to win his one-on-ones, because I think that secondary can lock down our wide receivers by themselves, and Kelsey's just got to beat Zach Bond. And I know everyone wants to say Zach Bond is going to be defensive player of the year potentially, or he has one of the greatest seasons he's had. He was overlooked in New Orleans, whatever, yada, 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 yada. I saw a lot of good things that Zach Ertz was doing against Zach Bond. That makes me very optimistic that Kelsey can get separation against Zach Bond too. Ertz and Kelsey, same draft class, but very good tight end.
Obviously they have, a pretty great secondary. We have, good wideouts out there. It's going to be a great battle. I think, however, the X factor, there's a bunch of different names, players of the game, right? What this game is going to come down to when it's Chiefs offense versus Eagles defense is, can Mike Caliendo hold up against the likes of Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter?
Actually, that's a great point.
Absolutely going to be the X factor of the game. We saw Mike Caliendo last week, right? Or, just not even last week, a couple days ago against the Bills, had a couple times where he got put on skates, right? With Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis, that tandem is absolutely demon-like on that defensive line, and they can really wreck shop. It's going to be a struggle, which usually, when we're talking about offensive line struggles for the Chiefs, we're talking about our tackles, right? I think as of right now, that solution's kind of fixed. Can Mike Caliendo do the job? I think he can. He showed a couple flashes here and there, but he's going to obviously have a lot of scheme help, especially inside. Usually how we've been protecting outside is we've been keeping running backs inside, floating on them on the outside for tackle help. Now I can see them kind of fitting up in the middle, putting either Kareem or Pacheco really close, maybe just lined up right outside of Caliendo just in case there's any leakage.
Yeah. And I mean, he has stepped up in that Browns game. I think that was his first start at left guard with the Tooney experiment, and he did really well against their interior. Their interior is not nearly as good as the Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis combination, especially because, dude, they both do such different things. Jordan Davis is just a monster. He is huge.
Jordan Davis is a freak of nature, and Jalen Carter is also just a monster.
Yeah, and well, it's basically size versus speed, and they both have both, and they both complement each other well. Jordan Davis can rush the passer, but he can stop the run.
I think the thing that a lot of people don't see about Jalen Carter is that he is on the field probably 98% of snaps when it comes to Eagles, and that is unheard of for D tackles.
He's like Max Crosby.
Yeah. When you watch a Chiefs game, you see Chris Jones coming off the field a lot, right? They save him for the later parts of the game. Jalen Carter does not miss plays. He is in there constantly, so Mike Caliendo is not going to have a break. They're going to put him on him probably every single snap, and he is going to have a game if we need to get through that.
Yeah.
Garrett, I'm sorry. I'm going to correct you on that. It looks like we were talking about Jalen Carter, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Looks like he's been in at about 79% of snaps this season.
Oh. The Commanders and Eagles game flashed a stat that I think was incorrect then. Unless it was talking about Jordan Davis, but he's also like 5 billion pounds, so.
Well, it could be that they benched their starters at the end of the game because they did. They put in Will Shipley, dude, who I love. I love Will Shipley, bro. I was surprised that they gave him the ball and he also had like a huge rip. So, hey, shout out Will Shipley, bro. He was supposed to be so good out of Clemson, and obviously you're behind a talented guy. He's just a rookie. He'll probably take Kenneth Gainwell's job eventually. But
yeah, but I mean, when it comes to injuries, I mean I think Landon Dickerson is questionable, but he'll probably play. But we're pretty much full team against full team here. It'll be offense versus offense, or offense versus defense, defense versus offense. So it is going to be a phenomenal game.
But let's finish up the Bills recap, right?
Yeah, we still have a lot to talk about on that. Are we going to bring back Kadarius Toney for the Super Bowl?
Look, no. I saw that. Hey, but Remigio might bring back the energy of a great kick return in the Super Bowl, as we said off the rip.
We did say that we said off rip. Maybe he breaks the record.
I think this is like a naturally good segue. I do have my Kadarius Toney jersey like right near me right now.
God, what a jersey, man.
Garrett, have you seen that trend where people have been like saying like, oh, what's the most random jersey you own? I have way too many random jerseys that I own, but I have valid reasons for getting all of them. Toney, when we traded for him, I was so excited to get the jersey that I made like an excuse. I was like, oh, his first 100-yard Chiefs game, I'll get it. Then he had like an 87-yard game, and I was like, that counts. So I got it, and then, he's a player that has been on the Chiefs. He's Super Bowl record, still a great jersey.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have like any like weird jerseys. Probably Creed Humphrey, but I mean, he's just offensive lineman, so that's kind of like expected of me, I guess.
I mean,
unless you're counting my high school jerseys, but
Statman Jackson's got the fun collection of jerseys, honestly. I mean, you got to show off some of your Chiefs jerseys too.
All right, so we got the Juju repping that right now.
Oh, and I got Worthy on, and Garrett's got DeAndre Hopkins on. Baby. So we're the whole receiver core.
We're the
receiver core. Just because, I mean, you got to have a Mahomes jersey.
Got to have the Mahomes jersey.
Okay, well.
Got it. You're a Chiefs man. Throwback, but one of my favorite defensive players at the time we had even traded for him when he was still on. I think he was in Houston at that point. Yes.
Oh,
the Honey Badger
jersey.
Throwback.
The Honey Badger.
Could use him right now with Brian Cook being kind of a bum.
We have Jaden Hooks. We don't need him.
We could also use this man, the clean 30,
the L'Jarius Sneed jersey.
I remember you buying that, and then like literally 2 weeks later, we traded him away.
Yeah, no, I was pissed. And then it didn't come in for like.
Oh, you ordered the jersey.
Months. I ordered it like right after the Super Bowl.
Away.
We traded him. Originally, it was supposed to come in like April. I get an email in March saying it's pushed back to June and then July. So I'm not even living in the house that it gets delivered to at that point.
But I don't think
I got the whole collection ready. My God.
No, dude. I think I got the weirdest jerseys though, dude. I got a freaking Scott Frost Nebraska jersey still. My dad played Nebraska. I was so bought in, dude. I was so bought in to Scott Frost, the head coach, and I was wrong. I was so wrong about him.
Talk about random ass.
Who is that?
Anybody know this man? Unbelievable.
I think I got you beat though with the. So I had a class with this guy when I went to college, and I just became a fan of just, his performance. He ended up playing a few games for the Longhorns, but how about the Malik Murphy practice Texas jersey? The practice
jersey?
The practice jersey.
That's
the black practice jersey, because bro is never going to play. But, I mean, he did. He ended up playing that same season I bought the jersey, so I got to wear it to a couple games, and then he transferred to Duke, and now he's at Oregon State. But, hey, Malik Murphy, shout out. I'm wishing you the best. Jackson?
I still gotta rep my Cyclones. We got his jersey when he was drafted. David Montgomery.
Oh, that is the cleanest Bears jersey though. The 100 year.
Yeah. This one, I feel like some people might backlash at me.
No, get it out of here, dude.
Yes, sir.
For very important context, Jackson Jackson is from Kansas City his whole life, but he went to Iowa State, so he bought like damn near every Iowa State player's jerseys that went to the pros.
I'm not even close. I could get Lazard, I could get Hall, I could get.
He has McDonald. Every single Iowa State jersey you could think of, and it's insane.
I've got three. Out of the however many at this point I could get from NBA and NFL.
But yeah, hey,
Oh,
comment below what your weirdest jersey that you own is. I still think between Scott Frost and Malik Murphy, and honestly, Kadarius Toney is still like a random one, but I think I need to get the Kareem 29 jersey because I think that'll be an all-time classic one. As Jackson shows the Waterboy Bobby Boucher jersey. That doesn't count.
I think I got. Hey, it's a jersey. You said a jersey.
It is a jersey.
Wait.
Conley?
Wait, someone has a Chris Conley jersey?
All right, that's crazy.
I know Jacob has a Jacob has the, oh my God, what's his freaking name? The Jeremy Maclin jersey. I like Jeremy Maclin. That was a fun time when we had Jeremy Maclin.
A jersey I still want to go back and get is another McCluster jersey. I had one when I was growing up. I fucking loved that guy.
To round out this segment, then, what's your oldest jersey that you own that's Chiefs? Because I think that's a good one. You know,
as in,
I've just never really been like a jersey buyer, I guess. But
do you remember your like first one then, Garrett?
I think it was Creed. I think Creed Humphrey was my first jersey.
Yeah, fair enough. Hey,
I just never really bought jerseys before, and then I was like, man, I love Creed Humphrey. He's just the GOAT. So,
yeah, Jackson, do you remember your first one? Or you had the McCluster one, like you already said. The McCluster one is the OG.
I had
Dexter McCluster.
I had when they were doing the jerseys that had all the holes in them. I had a Charles jersey.
Dude, like I wish I got a Chiefs Charles jersey. That's like the one I want. I could go buy it now, but I already have the Texas Jamal Charles one. So, but my oldest one I think is I have a picture of it and I'll put it in the reel, but I don't have it with me right now. I have the Trent Green holes jersey.
Yeah.
I think it's the oldest evidence of me with a jersey on, but dude, I miss those Reebok jerseys with the holes. I mean, these are cleaner, don't get me wrong, but like there was something about like, you know, having the whole jersey, you like actually felt like you were on the team as a kid or something. But yeah, Trent Green went hard, dude. I see him at like he's at church all the time. He's at the flower store. My mom runs into him.
He's always just chilling around, dude.
He's just around, man.
Oh God, this was maybe 2000.
Oh,
I was the Joe Montana jersey. Yeah, I saw.
Yeah, I saw.
That's sick.
Pat Mahomes worshiper used to worship Chiefs legend Joe Montana.
But no, I'm down in, I think this was in Sanibel, Florida, Sanibel Island. We're in this random restaurant in the middle of, I don't even know where in Florida. And who do you know is sitting right next to us in the booth next to us? Trent Green and his family.
He's just really around, man. He's just a good guy. All right, we're gonna go back to the show. I think we're gonna clip off this segment for the videos. I'll have to like trim it down, but let us
just
know.
A little bit of a jersey rant, you know.
Yeah, dude, I love the trend of just the jersey stuff, dude. I mean, thoughts on Juwan's false starts? They've gone away.
They've gone away, and also we've talked about it before. As of right now, until they change the loophole, it's not a false start.
And also, Deion Dawkins did it a couple times, or the left tackle or the right tackle did for the Bills.
He did the same thing that Juwan Taylor does.
And they didn't call it, but they could have, but they didn't. And we didn't cry about it, mostly because we won. But, I mean, it's so ticky-tacky at this point.
I guess before we head back into our...
I kind of want to answer this one last question, actually. Sorry. Who's your favorite Chiefs celebrity besides Taylor Swift?
Chief celebrity? I mean, like...
You got Paul Rudd, Ant-Man. You
Paul
got
Rudd,
Eric Stone Street.
I know there's
David Coaker.
So many.
Jason
you know
Sudeikis.
You know what's a crazy one? Gordon Ramsay's a Chiefs fan.
Why?
Gordon Ramsay.
Why
I don't know. I saw a video of him wearing a Chiefs jersey and being like, "Go Chiefs!" So Gordon Ramsay, dude.
Yeah, so is a Mr. Beast is allegedly a Chiefs fan too, because I saw him wearing a Chiefs jersey once. If you're talking in that sense, the same sense that the Rizzler is a Chiefs fan.
Mr. Beast ain't know nothing about Elvis Gerbach, dude.
Hey, listen, you know Patrick Mahomes worshippers, his favorite is Chiefsaholic.
I like Chiefsaholic. Fair enough. Henry Cavill, also a clutch pick.
Ooh, Henry Cavill. Brad Pitt's a Chiefs fan too. Henry Cavill might be a good one because I like his reasoning for it. It's basically like Superman's from Kansas and I'm from, wherever he's from, Britain or something. And he's like, I'm gonna pick it just because that's what my character would be a fan of. And I'm like, that's kind of cool. That's cool. I mean, if you're a foreigner and overseas, it's hard to pick an NFL team in America. That's a good connection. I like that. Very non-bandwagon energy. I respect it for Henry Cavill. My favorite,
Henry Winkler.
I mean, James DeRose is a Chiefs fan too. The What Happened guy. I mean,
oh yeah, I forgot.
that's hard, dude. Eric Stonestreet, just because he's a ball knower. He's a ball
knower.
He's
a ball knower, and he's also really funny. So
he is an incredible ball knower. He has a picture of himself in his private suite on the Chiefs Stadium, and it's a picture of him like
forever ago
for celebrating a offensive lineman touchdown. I forget which offensive lineman touchdown it is. Don't kill me.
Poe?
It was not. Dontarie Bowman's a defensive lineman.
Oh my God, I'm an idiot.
Jackson's on the perk right now, so we got to send him back to the dungeon. Bye, Jackson.
So before we head back into we're gonna finish up talking about the Bills Chiefs game. Do we want to have a little word from our sponsor?
Yes. Okay, I have to go away for this portion. So Garrett, this is all you.
I'll take over. We officially have a sponsor. If you guys didn't see, posted on the Instagram last week before the Bills game. We're sponsored by Underdog Fantasy now. I'm going to be sending out my picks for the game. We're going to talk about one here in a second. We're going to have one posted on the Instagram channel as well right before the game. But unfortunately, the Bills ruined my picks from last week. I took all hires, took a Josh Allen rushing touchdown, also took Kincaid to have higher than 30 receiving yards. Neither of those hit because the Bills are trash. Anyway, got a new set coming up. First of all, DeAndre Hopkins, the jersey, I got it on right here. He's going to have a touchdown this game. I can just feel it. Worthy's going to continue his dominance throughout the playoffs. I expect him to go higher than 65.5. Mahomes, he's going to have a lights-out game. Always does. He's clutch whenever it matters, whenever it's Super Bowl. Higher than 250.5. Here's the kicker, boys. You got to lock in. Saquon Barkley, lower than 115.5. Chiefs are going to sell out for the run against Saquon Barkley. I don't expect him to go over 100. I said it here. And make sure when you guys use our code UHC, you deposit, get up to $1,000 in bonus cash back. It's a deposit match. They're not clear about it, but we're going to be clear about it because we don't want you guys to have questions.
Thank you, Garrett, for your segment right there. So we are back to the show. I see a comment that someone said, David is my favorite Chiefs celebrity. Working on it. I'm working on it. Kareem Hunt. Yes, we should talk about Kareem Hunt, Garrett. We didn't talk about him. Playoff Kareem Hunt is so good, and this dates back to his Browns time. I think he's at 6 or 7 playoff touchdowns right now, Jax, if you could find how many playoff touchdowns Kareem Hunt has. He's been dying to play for us. Man, it would be so nice to have him some of these years, like some of the years that we did end up winning it all. But, I mean, hey, we got it done with the guys that we had, and now Kareem Hunt is making the most of his moment. And he's not washed. He's good. He had, how many carries did he have in this game, Garrett? He had like 13 or something like that.
He had 17
carries
for 64 yards and a tutty, man. Just under 4 yards a carry, but I mean, when it came down to it, he got tough yards when we needed it. Specifically, I can remember right off the top of my head. I mean, he was about to get tackled for a 4-yard loss, kind of just a broken coverage play, and he trudged back and got 2 yards out of it somehow. I'm not even sure. I mean, there was like 3 dudes wrapping him up in the backfield. Would have been like a loss of 4, gain of 2. So he's just constantly wanting to get as many yards as possible. Really, all the running backs kind of had like their one play that we really needed, right? Kareem Hunt, obviously he was the main carry back. Pacheco had that the first down that we obviously would have loved to see him get down in bounds, but he was getting close to getting tackled anyway. It is what it is. And to finish off the game, to win the game, third string running back Samaje Perine with a dump off for the win, right?
Dude,
so
I love that because Andy Reid said that was the play call they wanted, had been prepping, had been holding for that entire week, and Samaje knew it. That's all his role was. I'm the receiving back. I'm the change of pace. I'm literally going to come in and win the game, and that's it.
Hadn't really been in the game the whole time, and then he just wins the game for us. So
I just love it. Love it. The great coaching. I mean, we put the ball in the hand of our quarterback to throw it to the running back when it's time to win the game. We are not running it. They're all out expecting a run. We drop back to pass, and a little leak out by Samaje Perine. Samaje Perine has been clutch like all season, dude. Like all season he's been clutch. And he just such a humble guy, knows his role. You just love players like that. That is championship players. I am glazing the heck out of Samaje Perine right now, but he deserves it, man. Nobody talks about his contributions to the team. He's like Jet McKinnon light, and I think he does his role amazing on this squad. So shout out Samaje, even though you went to OU, but that's okay.
Going back to Kareem, he's got 7. Hang on, I just had that. He's got 7 rushing touchdowns and 1 receiving touchdown in the postseason.
And how many games played?
6.
Okay, yeah. So
I think on our team right now, then he would be the second most playoff touchdown on our team right now, right? Besides Kelsey. I don't think anyone else on our offense right now has more playoff touchdowns than that.
No, yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
I mean, D-Hop doesn't play.
D-Hop doesn't. Juju, I don't think has that many. I would be stunned if he did. And Hollywood, I don't think does either. So I think it goes Kelsey then Kareem when it comes to playoff touchdowns for the Chiefs.
Yeah, and I mean, we're going to talk about it too because people in the comments are talking about it. But like, yeah, it feels we're experimenting in the playoffs. I think this was deliberate. We showed our cards against the Texans because we knew that to play the Bills, we had to play completely differently. We knew the Bills were going to lock down Kelsey. It's just how it was. They wanted to, make sure that he didn't get going. He's a very big momentum player where if Kelsey starts to get going, it's harder to stop. And also the energy Kelsey emits is really dangerous too. So yeah, Kelsey and Noah Gray kind of were, for lack of a better word, Matt Milano and, the safeties, Damar Hamlin, I guess, like they took care of business over there, but it left the wide receivers wide open. I mean,
we were cooking them on the outside, and that was obviously game planned. We knew where the weakness was.
Juju.
Yeah,
nobody expected Juju.
Well, except for Alex from Chiefs Talk. Except for Alex, he totally saw it coming. But like all the people saying, oh, how does Kelsey go from over 100-yard game to only having 19 yards, right? It's schemed, right? Mahomes is not going to force the ball to Kelsey if he's double or even sometimes triple covered, right? We're going to see the weaknesses, which we found in the corners of the Buffalo Bills. That's why the opening drive, we had 2 RPO quick passes to Hollywood Brown because we saw he could beat these guys off the line, make sure we can get those quick catches for first downs, and then it just opened up the whole playbook. Right.
It makes me miss Rashee Rice because that was Rashee Rice's job. And that kind of went away, the quick passing game to Rashee Rice on quick RPO slants. Like that used to be our bread and butter. That used to be our identity. And we've had to not only go away from that, but completely change as an offense. And Andy Reid is just not getting enough credit, honestly. Like people will say, like, where are the points? Well, the points are coming. They're coming now. I expect us to put more up in the Eagles game even because we're letting all the stops go. It's the whole playbook is open. Our players are back healthy. Hollywood is showing up. Juju is showing up, man. That's crazy.
Like, and to that point, right? I think a big quote I saw coming out of the game was one of the defensive coaches from the Bills. I mean, he said the play that we ran with Mahomes, right? When we had that inverted wishbone, right?
Yeah.
We have never, ever run a single play like that with Mahomes his entire career. And now we're pulling it out in the playoffs when it matters the most, right?
Yeah.
So what our coaches know is that if we've never run something, it's not on film. So we're going Andy Reid is not afraid of installing a play for one specific game, right? A lot of coaches, they get into this philosophy that we're gonna run a lot of the same plays over and over and over. We're gonna get good at what we're good at, and we're gonna live in it, right? Andy Reid does not have that restriction. He is okay, if he's sitting on the couch right now watching, a bowl game from the 1970s, right? And he sees a play he's like, yeah, I could probably throw that in practice time.
Yeah.
And we'll see.
And I mean, there is the rumored Taylor Swift play that we haven't seen yet. I know they will tell us if it happens. But I mean,
do you think it's schemed up specifically for Kelsey if it's named the Taylor Swift?
I think he would be the quarterback / the, he's taken direct snaps before, like his touchdown pass to Byron Pringle. I love that play, dude. But oh my gosh, if the Taylor Swift play ever happens and it happens in the Super Bowl,
we're already hated now. We'll
never beat the allegations.
We'll never beat the allegations. We're already hated so much, and especially if it comes down to that press conference where it's like, yeah, that play that we won the game on, it's called Taylor Swift. The meltdown online is going to be glorious, and I'm going to love it.
Yeah, That would be crazy. But, if it happens, it happens. Listen, I also still think, we talked about it earlier too, the Leo Chenal play that might be in the playbook that I can't wait to see. We hinted at it early in the season with Leo Chenal lining up in the fullback position. He can go out there and he can make a play. So I'd be really interested to see if that happens too. I know Alex from Chiefs Talk was talking about that play. So I can't wait to see what crazy plays we pull up against. Because this defense, this Eagles defense, we need to pull all the stops, all the crazy tricks.
And we always have some play that we've held in our back pocket the entire season. The corn dog plays from the past couple Super Bowls, and the ring around the rosy against the Raiders, right? It's like we always have some kind of weird play. Once we get down into that 20-yard line and in, be ready for something crazy to happen.
Dude, the ring around the rosy to Kadarius Toney in the Raiders game is a play lost to time. That is,
if he would have scored on that, it would have been one of the best plays probably ever.
I know. That is just insane that we even that felt like we were just being mean to the Raiders at that point. But I'm expecting some crazy trick plays for this game. I mean, if it's a Taylor Swift play, oh boy. Oh, get ready, Garrett. We'll have to talk about it. But I mean, what's next on the docket? Have we just
that's about it. We've yapped for a good 50 minutes here now, and it's like,
oh, I guess we could talk about Hurts breaking the curse. The curse that I really loved, which was, I think is it 19 straight quarterbacks who have lost their Super Bowl debut, have never even made it back to the Super Bowl. Well, Jalen Hurts made it back.
Mm-hmm.
Will he
Hurts
lose
has
again?
Broken that curse.
Maybe, but I can't believe they finally broke the curse, because I mean, there's a lot of good quarterbacks that have made Super Bowls recently with this Mahomes era. Like if Burrow ever made it back, it would break the curse. If Purdy ever made it back, it would break the curse.
I mean, to be fair, I feel like the Eagles right now are as close to a God squad as we could probably imagine right now in the NFL, especially with the salary cap. I mean, they just got a lot of guys like that are right on the brink of their contract years. Guys like Hurts and Saquon. He just got paid a ton of money. They have younger guys like Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis who are going to get huge contracts, right? So it's their window right now. Mahomes is known for closing windows. He is a closed window guy. So I'm ready to see him ball out.
Everyone's still talking about because the Instagram's so delayed. They're talking about the different trick plays or stuff we could do. And someone mentioned the shutdown of Saquon Barkley, which we talked about earlier in this game. But yeah, Garrett, I know that you think that we're definitely going to shut down Saquon Barkley. I could agree too. I do like our matchup against him. I think, we showed, and just Andy Reid doing all this genius hiding plays stuff. Spags is doing the exact same thing, hiding plays. And we let James Cook run on us. We would rather James Cook run on us than Josh Allen, because Patrick Mahomes had more rushing yards than Josh Allen. Patrick Mahomes had 2 rushing touchdowns. Josh Allen had none. Patrick Mahomes played Josh Allen type football better than Josh Allen. And I think that's just a testament to coaching, to exactly what we want to do. We want to make a statement. And I mean, what more could you ask for? I think this is
not really much more. I mean,
greatness.
Hey, regardless of everything that happened, we won the game. We are going back to the Super Bowl for the 3rd straight year for our chance at a back-to-back Super Bowl championship.
And if it happens, it'll be really, really hard to count Mahomes out of the GOAT conversation as the sole GOAT. And I'd argue he's already second best all time.
He is.
Undisputed.
He is.
And it's not about that. It's about just this city deserves it. I know everyone online thinks, oh my gosh, it's Kansas City fans, unbearable this, unbearable that, media, refs, Taylor Swift fans. This city has been nothing but kind fans throughout their entire tenure. We've suffered through many mid years. Honestly, I kind of feel like we have like Cowboys years. It was a lot like, never had a quarterback identity. We always had great defenses. I loved our defenses. I missed those, but we were welcoming fans when you came to our city. We have good banter. And I'm just glad to see that our city's finally getting paid forward by a successful team. Very successful team, mind you. And hey, the Royals are on the come up too.
They're on the come up.
So we're about to be a sports hub.
What the best part is? When we go out and win this game, the first words that I want to hear come out of Mahomes' mouth, job ain't finished.
Oh my gosh, yeah. That would be Jackson. I think you got your Royals jersey up. You were trying to show me.
That was there's one more
Obviously
jersey.
the best player on the Royals.
You mentioned obviously the best player on the Royals. Don't even question. Andrew Benintendi.
Benintendi, baby, the GOAT.
Yeah, but like I said, guys, we're rounding out our show right now. I see a lot of people I like coming into the show right now, so it kind of sucks that we're ending it right now. Come catch us. We're every like Tuesday or Monday, usually at 5 p.m., like pretty consistently. It just depends on if we think we have enough to talk about. Honestly, we didn't yesterday. We had a lot more Super Bowl news came out. We're wearing the white jerseys, which we are really good in.
They look clean.
Last 16 Super Bowl champions, or it's out of the last 20 Super Bowl champions, 16 of them wore white jerseys. If you're superstitious like that, it's a good sign for us. But I mean,
hey, what color did we wear last time we beat the Eagles in the Super Bowl?
White.
Yes, white. Because I remember, because I bought the Nick Bolton jersey. That's the one jersey. See, you gotta stop buying jerseys from knockoff sites, even though I will continue to do that. The Nick Bolton jersey smelled so bad. I tried to fix it.
That's why you don't buy jerseys off Temu, dude. Buy it from the NFL shop, like this one right here, bud.
It was so bad that it got like mold stained and fell apart, so I had to throw it away. But it was the Super Bowl Nick Bolton jersey.
Hey guys, don't forget to go over to the YouTube. We got the links in the description. Follow, give us a like, put on that bell. Follow the Instagram as well. If you guys like
listen
content.
on Spotify, because the 5-star reviews help us a lot, because we do have a lot of listeners who only hear us on Spotify. I honestly can't imagine just listening to us in the shower and in the car and, not even knowing about all the great content on Instagram and YouTube. So, hey, come on over, and the water's nice. We're excited. Guys, you guys have been great. What team beat the Eagles last time? Oh, people are just getting hyped up in the comments right now. So join the lives every Monday or Tuesday. Maybe I'll make ads in the future so you guys know. But
and we'll be back next week. We're gonna be even more hype, baby. We're going back to the Super Bowl. Honestly, I just can't even believe it. It's insane. It's unprecedented. Unprecedented.
And as always, we're just talking shop. See you guys next week when we talk about the Eagles more.